Let's do it. So I want to talk about the cameras. So I had a dream, and that dream is, can I go and stream with this, with the action cameras outside? And the problem with that is that they work well on a good internet, but the internet outside is often not that good. In my particular case, I'm riding a bicycle. I just want to mount this somewhere. This one, so I have GoPro 10 and DJI Action 4. And then I have some Sony X3000 as well, but I haven't been using it for a long time. Long story short, I'm working on like making this reliable. So I wanted to shoot a quick video on, and I think I had a good progress on that. And I would say it became possible recently with some of the latest hardware, software development, and it's very affordable, I would say. So the problem is this works well on a good internet, as I said. So usually inside, when you're inside at home, you can have a good internet or somewhere like. If you're outside, you essentially, if I'm riding a bicycle, I need to use a SIM card. So usually cameras will ask for your, will like want you to get your phone and you go and create a hotspot. So that what that is a small Wi-Fi around your phone, and your phone has a SIM card. And so the problem is that now your internet is as good as your SIM card, right? And so there's different options, but basically there's an idea to use multiple SIM cards and you get more internet, and that may help. And in my case, I tested it, and I did a lot of different configurations of software, hardware, and I think I got to the one that works, so I just wanted to share that one. And so I have some diagrams. Let me see. I'll just open it up. I'll have to freestyle, so bear with me. I'll just add the screen capture here. So imagine the world where you have your action camera. So in my case, I have GoPro 10 and DJI Osmo Action 4, all right? And it goes through some magic. There will be a bit of magic, some magical software, all right? Hold on. One second, I'll just, okay, do this so you can see me. All right, so there's a bit of magical software, hardware, something around your camera that will like stabilize it and make it reliable, and you can go to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or one of those, right? So long story short, so this magic, I already have a video where I explain different things in a lot more in depth, and I will link it to this one. And so just trying to remember. Yes. So let's take a phone. So do I have it now? Let's say you have an iPhone. So on iPhone you have an app called Moblin, right? Let's imagine that. Moblin. Moblin, it's an app like this. It's what it can do is the following. It can take your signal from the camera, and essentially you will stream your camera to the phone. You're not going to YouTube, you're not going Twitch, you're streaming your camera to the phone, and then this phone, there's a way to connect one more SIM card to it. For example, you use this Nighthawk, you put a SIM card in here, and this creates a Wi-Fi. Your phone connects to this Wi-Fi, and you know, they can be on the same Wi-Fi, so hold on, is this right? Yeah. So yeah, you have your camera, it wants a Wi-Fi, so you make a Wi-Fi out of this, so your camera streams to the Wi-Fi, and then this Wi-Fi is connected to this phone, so your camera essentially streaming to the phone. And then this phone will essentially have two SIM cards, essentially, sort of connected to it. And if it has Moblin, it will automatically detect that, and it will like stream with two SIM cards. Now, what you need is something called Belabox Cloud. I guess I don't want to open it up because you might see my URL, but basically you can get special URL which will be SRT-LA. So that SRT-LA URL will allow you to use two SIM cards, so it will be in parallel. They will stream to that SRT-LA URL server, and that server will combine those two things into one thing, and then you have a computer at home or somewhere in the cloud, and that computer essentially will be pointed to that combined SRT signal. It will sort of watch it and like rebroadcast it to the actual YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or what have you. So that's the idea, but I do wanna, the details are both important and not so important. One of the ideas I have is that, well, you can build some pipeline where you take the signal, the RTMP stream from your cam, so it will be wirelessly streamed. So from the perspective of the webcam, it kind of like wants a Wi-Fi and it wants a URL to stream to, right? So there is a way to point it to your phone, so that actual server, RTMP and just server, will be on your phone. If you have iPhone, it doesn't work that well on Android, unfortunately. And then your phone will be like watching that stream, so it will watch and at the same time capture it, like send it. So unfortunately, to have it use multiple SIM cards, you have to have that SRT-LA thing, which you can get from the Belabox, or you can get from the, I think it's called IRL hosting. It will cost about $10 US. If you scroll down, you see there is an option. So that's irlhosting.com, and you can rent an SRT or SRT-LA. If you need bonding and multiple cards, SIM cards, you need the SRT-LA one. And as you can see, you can stream up to 20 megabits per second, 1080p, 60 frames per second. And it's all, anyhow, it's all really straightforward. I haven't tried this one. I use Belabox one, and with some of these things, you would think it all will just work if you swap one thing for another, but sometimes it doesn't. So I'll just tell you what works for me. So for me, definitely this works. And then the interesting bit is that you might have some issues still. So the actual internet around action cam when you're outside can be an issue that you can solve by using multiple SIM cards, something called HAFC, and you can get some of the modems or routers, they can use sort of multiple cell towers, and apparently that makes it, you can get more internet out of one SIM card. Anyhow, so if you research and you get a good modem or router, that helps with making more internet available. But I want to make it super high level and at the same time point out a few important things, so which I've encountered. So usually with GoPro, they can push 5 megabits per second or 5,000 kilobits per second. And if I'm riding a bicycle and I have lots of trees and things are changing quick, actually it kind of does, it's not enough bitrate and it's all becoming really muddy, and the quality isn't the best, but it will work, but it's not gonna be the best. So usually the problem is that's your source. So if the camera itself is already compressed, the video from the camera, and then once it goes through all the magic, it will get worse and worse. Every time you rebroadcast it, restream it, like the quality there's a high chance it will degrade. So by the time it reaches YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, etc., it will get worse and worse with every step of the way. So you want to have as high in the beginning, you want the bitrate to be as high as you can, but then you need to make sure that it doesn't create any problems. So one problem, as I said, internet, but there's another problem, is that some of this stuff, so it will kind of go through, let me show you, actually. I'll give you something to look at. A bit more detail. All right. So this is something let me move myself here. Something I've been playing with. Okay. So what I do, currently, I don't have, so let me go back a bit. So on Android, if you want to use action cam specifically, you don't really have good options on Android at the moment, as far as I'm aware of. So you need on Apple, if you have iPhone, iPad, or MacBook, one of the later ones that use M1, M2, M3, M4, I think, chips, you can use this Moblin app, and it's very important to have this app because this can do HEVC, which can compress that signal and send kind of like at same visual quality. You can send half of the bitrate, and it has dynamic bitrate, and it has bonding, so it can do SRTLA with multiple SIM cards and all that. So this app, unfortunately, it works only on iPhone, iPad, and MacBooks. It doesn't work on Android. On Android, there's a similar app. It's a bit more limited, called IRL Pro, but that app, it cannot really take this stream from the action cam as an input, so it doesn't really help. And that's the only Android app that can do everything else that we need for a good internet. Okay, and so there's another thing. There's this thing, Orange Pi. Oh, actually, it's kind of Belabox. So Belabox, it's kind of like a small computer. I think it's running Linux, and the Belabox is a software. So basically, you have to get. It's pretty cheap. I would say it's cheap to get this, and then you put the Belabox software on it, and it will again it will have dynamic bitrate, HEVC. It's actually listed here somewhere. Yeah, so 265 is HEVC, so it has that, it has bonding, meaning multiple SIM cards, it has dynamic bitrate. So you want all of these things basically to have a reliable stream when you're outside and you are using SIM cards. You want all these things. So Moblin and Belabox, they do that. And on Windows, unfortunately, it doesn't work that well, but you can, in theory, you can get Belabox and you have Windows and you can like have HDMI from that Windows laptop if you want into this is input into Belabox. So that's an option, I guess. So that's what I kind of wanna, I try to make sense of it, and I kind of think of these things, and this thing can take so the source from this, like the camera or whatever you're broadcasting from these apps, from Moblin or Belabox, it can be RTMP feed from your action camera. It sometimes can be HDMI, like Belabox can do HDMI, and it can do USB, something called kind of like UVC. That's kind of like a video over USB-C, kind of like a webcam. It's kind of like a webcam that you can connect. Actually, which one? DJI. If you plug in USB into it and you put the other end into Belabox, and then it will ask you like, do you want webcam? So you click webcam, and that's how it works. And then with HDMI, this thing actually has HDMI input with Moblin. iPhone cannot do USB, it cannot do HDMI, it can only do RTMP. So it's, you know, it will work for action cam. iPad can do RTMP as input, and it can do USB as well. I'm not sure about, I guess you can do HDMI sort of like as a through the capture card. I think you can do that. Yeah. So iPad is slightly better than in iPhone, but they still, you know, they have only one plug. And MacBook, actually you can do everything. So MacBook and Belabox, in terms of inputs, you can do everything essentially: USB, HDMI, RTMP. Okay, so all right. So something new that I've learned. Some people say, okay, you wanna push as much. You wanna get that, you know, I told you, like the quality, once it goes through all this different steps, the quality of video will degrade. So you wanna kinda push as much as you want from the action cam. So out of GoPro with the usually you can do 5 megabits per second, which I said it's not a lot, even 10. That's different. With some apps you can get 10. Now with DJI you can do, if you use Moblin as a remote control, it's a bit strange exotic thing, but you can, Moblin has a DJI remote control app, not app, but like a software as a part of it. Actually, let me open it up. I'll show you. Here we go. We have Moblin app running on. So I have MacBook Pro M3, and you go to settings, DJI devices, and essentially what this is, it's a remote control for DJI camera, and you can pick bitrate that's higher. Like the official app allows you 6 megabits per second max, but with this one you can go all the way to 20. But there's some people that recommend 10, 12, because it kind of is a bit unreliable. The higher you go, unfortunately, you get stuttering, choppy video, audio, not great. It's like starts skipping frames. So I have it set to 10 megabits per second, and the reason is that, okay, so we get into the actual focus. So we just want a great, you know, video out of this. So imagine, depending on what camera you use, you set it as high sort of as you can. And what that means is, you know, yes, you can technically set it to 20, but you have to test it out. Like, I would say 10 is as high as you can go with DJI, and even with 10, you have to have, they say, okay, you have to actually have very good Wi-Fi. So it's like they say, Wi-Fi, but then, so I have this guy, and some people don't recommend it for this. It has all kinds of bad things about it, to be honest, but that's what I have. And it can do Netgear Nighthawk M1. I think it can do decent Wi-Fi. Like, it can do a strong Wi-Fi when you're outside on the bicycle. And but what I've learned is, as I said, so let's say what works for me, I just take this. I take a MacBook. I'm currently running everything on the MacBook, so I cannot show you, but yeah, I take the MacBook with me on the bicycle, put it in a backpack, and then what I do is I take this. Hold on. I should say I have this other thing. It's a Huawei E8372. As you can see, this only has USB-C, and you can put a SIM card in this. So that's one. So if Moblin is running on a MacBook, so you connect, that's one SIM card it gets. I just connected with USB. Now, second SIM card, I have Android phone, so I make a hotspot with my phone, and I connect it wirelessly to the MacBook, connects to this Wi-Fi sort of, and that's how it gets a second SIM card. And technically you can put a SIM card in this, but it's a bit unreliable based on my tests. On the Belabox, there are some notes on the Belabox wiki. Belabox. So if you go to Belabox wiki, yeah, so that's, I think that's the one I just show you. So that's the Belabox guy, Rational IRL, he recommends this guy. So that's, I think that's this Huawei. Actually, no, that's this one, 8372. So it has a Wi-Fi, and it has it's a both modem. It's a modem with a Wi-Fi, and this one is the same, just without Wi-Fi. Anyhow, we're going a bit too deep. And basically, here we go. That's my Netgear Nighthawk M1, also called MR1100. There are some notes, and if you read these notes, it says if it loses cell signal, it kind of like has some issues with reconnecting. So it actually, surprisingly, when you're outside going from place to place, when it loses signal, you have to like restart it. Otherwise, it's it cannot connect back to cell towers or something. So that's what's happening to me. So that's why I don't recommend it to put a SIM card in it, but you have to test and see if it works for you. But I do recommend using it just without SIM card for Wi-Fi. And so basically something I tested today, something I wanted to point out, and I learned it the hard way. If we go back, so again, we have this thing connected directly to MacBook. We have MacBook on the Wi-Fi from this, and then it's important to connect this with I use Ethernet cable or LAN So I connect this to MacBook. So you can see on the diagram, it's wired. It is wired. This router needs to be wired with the cable to the thing. And only that way, when I push out 10 megabits out of DJI, that's when it reliably works. If it's not connected with the wire, and let's say I connect this some other way, the second SIM card I connect some other way to the MacBook. The problem is, something I tried yesterday is basically, this was on Wi-Fi as well. Right. So instead of it being action camera is on this Wi-Fi and the MacBook was in this Wi-Fi, so they were both wireless, and that's when I was pushing 10 megabits per second, and from time to time when I'm inside and then there's some radio interference, it starts to skip, the audio is crackling, it starts to stutter, and basically you will have issues because it might glitch out. Like that RTMP, unfortunately, it has tendency to glitch out. I think SRT can fix itself. It has some error correction and stuff. But out of action cameras, you cannot send SRT. You can only send RTMP wirelessly, unfortunately. And that RTMP, it has a tendency, when you push too much bitrate or there's some radio interference, it like loses some data and it goes crazy. So you can either restart it. So the fix is you restart the stream from the action cam, you shut it down, you start it up, anyhow. You restart the live stream, and that can fix it, but it's kind of annoying. So another option is you lower your bitrate, and it will have less chances of data loss and glitching out. Or you need to make sure you minimize wireless things. Like wireless things can lose data. Like it can be, there's radio interference, boom, you lose something, it starts glitching out. So what I recommend doing is you use this wired to your MacBook or to your Belabox or even to your iPhone. There's a way to iPad, so I would recommend using this wired to the device that runs Moblin or Belabox, and then that makes it faster. So once this is wired, it's a lot faster. It can transfer and like has less chance of data loss or interference, and then you can stream higher bitrate out of DJI to this when this is connected, with do I have it? So I just take this LAN, and that's the beauty of it. As you can see, this modem only has USB-C. You don't really have any other options, but this guy you can connect with Ethernet, so that's what I recommend. You plug this in, you plug this other end into I don't have it, but yeah, Ethernet to USB-C. In theory, I haven't tested it well enough. This can also be connected. It has a USB-C, and it will create a local network with USB, so you can plug it into your laptop or what have you. And then that might work as well, but I mostly tested with Ethernet, to be honest. So this video is sort of in both high level and like a bit low level. So the important bit, all you want to do, if you go back to the Magic, you want to send as much bitrate as your equipment can handle reliably without going into stuttering. If you send too high of a bitrate, there's a higher chance of stuttering, data loss, etc. And you don't want that. So I recommend with, at least with this stuff that I have, 10 megabits per second, I can say works with this setup that I've showed you. Hold on, that's not this one. Yeah. Just to summarize, I'll say it again. DJI Osmo Action, you remote control it with Moblin to send 10 megabits per second to this through this Wi-Fi. This guy is connected with the cable to whatever iPhone, iPad, MacBook, or Orange Pi. And then from there, it will go to SRTLA server, which can be either Belabox or this IRL hosting thing. It's just a URL that gets, it goes through multiple SIM cards in parallel. So, and then this server actually combines all of those into one video. So your computer, your OBS at home will watch that video and rebroadcast it. I guess I have YouTube here, but yeah. Okay. I think that's what I wanted to say. And just, I don't know, we can end video here and like, that's it. Related to this magic, I think another way to think about it, so we were thinking kind of like starting from the camera and going to the website you are broadcasting to. And another way to think about it that makes sense to me is usually when you're at home, it makes sense for you to stream from your computer, your laptop, using OBS on a good, so you're on a good internet and you're streaming whatever your games or whatever you're streaming using OBS, right? But when you're outside, you still keep that OBS. You're outside, you take your cameras and your other stuff like your Belabox or iPhone, whatever, you take it outside and you will stream from the outside to your laptop at home, right? And that laptop at home will rebroadcast it. So if your stream goes down, meaning if whatever you send in outside goes down, your home computer is still running, right? So if anything, at any step here goes down, you can restart it, your mainstream is up. Anyhow, let's leave it there. Bye-bye.